Never fucking had it.
Shut
No way.
up.
Never fucking
No
had it.
way.
Wait, Austin, you trying to tell us something else right now?
As humans, everybody lives in the same reality. We could all be in the same room together, but we perceive it differently.
All that experience, all that emotions, all the things that happen in that one life is boiled down to what we call instinct. And that's the only thing we can bring over to the next life.
You won't behave. You will be canceled.
Coincidence? Coincidence? Coincidence. There cannot be three.
I am really hoping this. Let's see. Let me check into this just real quick. Yeah, there we are. Perfect. And you got sound. Look at that. Hello and welcome everyone back to the Collective Minds podcast. This is going to be a short one. I just want to jump into this topic. I've not seen it like mainstream media, nothing. No one's talking about this, and I saw it the other day and I thought it was pretty incredible actually. So the new food pyramid, right? Used to be small one at the top, big one on the bottom. Here it is. So the wider it goes is how much, like percentage wise, of what you should be eating in a day, month, year. You got your protein, dairy, healthy fats. That's where even peanut butter, but avocado, eggs, the actual fat that comes naturally from animals. That's what you're looking at right there. And, vegetables, some fruits. Then you got your vegetables and fruits. So majority, looking at this right off the top, is meat, fruits, and vegetables. Bread's at the very bottom. I'm telling you right now, if you want to be healthy, you want to lose weight, this is what it is. For years, they've been telling us 60% is supposed to be breads. Eating, it's missing a lot of the things that make it old school good bread. Let's see if we can pull up the old one real quick. All right, there you go. So, old one, sugar at the top, or whatever. Chips, potato chips, on top right there. Same with the cheese and milk, which is funny because both of those things have the same properties, right? High protein, high healthy fat. And you got, here's some fruits, vegetables, very bottom. Look at that. Bread, carbohydrates. Carbs are very important, but not this important. Just want to point that out. So I myself have dropped, 35, 40 pounds just from switching to a keto diet. Now, that's not all meat, right? It's not all meat. It's just meat, vegetables, fruit with low carbs. It doesn't mean you have to give up bread. It just means don't eat it at every meal. Don't eat your meat wrapped in bread. Don't eat your vegetables and your fruits wrapped in bread. And when you do eat bread, eat the healthy bread. From what I understand, white bread, when you eat it, it's pretty much sugar going into your body. So sugar spike, there on the bottom, they're telling you, feed your kids bread, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And then afterwards, give them a cookie. That's the old style food pyramid. And that's why we're so fat and stupid these days, is because for generations we have been feeding ourselves this. Now this is without including the GMOs, all just plastic on hormone affecting plastic that they put into all the food, good food and bad, right? Processed foods. But to actually tell schools that this is what they should be feeding kids to tell parents that this is what they should be feeding kids, coming from doctors, right? This is what they recommend. Now, the new one, it's quite the opposite, isn't it? How do you go from this on the left here, with a little bit of meat, a little bit of milk and cheese, just your protein, healthy fats, a little bit of vegetables, a little bit of fruit, to now mostly vegetables and fruit, healthy fats and protein? Absolutely amazing. This itself will get rid of so many diseases, like Alzheimer's. Boom. Right there. Obviously, obesity, a lot of mental health disorders that people have. This will resolve that. Start eating. Just do it. It's super easy. If you are a little overweight, or a lot overweight, or just not overweight at all, but want to feel better, eat more protein and less carbs and watch what happens. Now, if you're trying to lose weight really quick, cut off almost all carbs. You still need a little bit. And if you work out and you're trying to build muscle, carbs and protein, they work together to build muscle. But if you're sitting around not working out as much as you should be and you're eating carbs, it's being stored as fat. And your body now is using these garbage sugar carbs as energy. It's not the good kind of energy. It's the kind of energy where you get, tired and sleep too much and become depressed, riddled with anxiety. Eat more meat, eat less carbs, and eat more vegetables and fruit, and watch what happens. It's super easy. And quick Google will show you all the, different kinds of meals you can make. But this is way bigger. This should be all over mainstream media. I mean, they hate Trump, and it's really going to prove a lot here in the next few years, because as soon as you switch your diet to mostly meat, you shred pounds fast. Just saw a comment the other day on a topic of this, and the person said, I lost 18 pounds since the beginning of the year because they cut out carbs. I believe him, because I too have done that. I dropped 30 pounds in probably a little less than 60 days from cutting out the carbs. And then the carbs that I do eat now are whole grain, the wheat, the nuts. There's so many alternatives that still give you that satisfaction, because everyone loves, right, big ass piece of garlic bread or a dinner roll or a sandwich every now and then. And you can still eat that stuff, just not every day, not every week even, but you can still have carbs every day as long as it's the good healthy one. Get your body into ketosis and it'll start eating the fat and using that as energy instead of expecting to add more to it. So it's the first half of this little podcast here. Had to hit the food. I'm super excited. I'm excited that schools are going to be giving our children better food. I'm excited that old people, in the homes are going to be getting fed better food. And I'm not too sure. It's better for everyone. There's no loss on this. You'd have to be delusional to believe it. What do doctors think of the new food pyramid? The new MAHA, the MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, if you didn't know, guidelines have been met with both widespread criticism and general praise. In a statement, the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine commended the new guidelines for limiting certain fats and alcohol consumption, while emphasizing the importance of fruits and vegetables. That's another thing. If you quit drinking alcohol, for one, men, okay, kills your testosterone. Alcohol, sorry about it. Men and women, it induces anxiety really bad. If you have an anxiety disorder and you also know that you drink multiple times a week, guarantee you stop drinking. It's going to get better, way better, like day and night changes. Says, however, the group expressed concerns about the recommendations regarding meat and dairy products. They said they are also worried about the influence certain industries may have had on the guideline decisions. So that's crazy. We're going, big meat now. Worried big meat has their, the chokehold on the administration. What about the big carb, right? You look at where it's coming from and who's making it and what it's made out of, and it's not even real anymore. It's a filler. It's a filler, to fatten you up, so you're riddled with disease. You'll live a short life, but in that life, the majority of it, you're paying for medical care. You know, it's just like these the diabetes shots that everyone was taking the past couple of years, and they just shrink and they look gross, and they're like, well, I'm skinny now, and it's like, that's not the right way to do it, and you know you're gonna have something bad happen to you for doing it. It's disgusting. I can't believe that people could get their hands on it. Other things though, you know, amoxicillin, you need a prescription. A lot of these other ones you can just get online, but you're fat, so take a shot. Quick fix all. Let's see. The American Heart Association, AHA, generally found RFK Jr.'s new guidelines to be on the right track. Crazy, the people that care about your heart, allegedly, right? Do believe that you should be eating more meat, and it's because it's healthy. Now, this whole propaganda behind the old food pyramid was stay away from red meat, all this meat, cholesterol, you're going to have a heart attack. Is it? Or is it because you're 30 to 60 pounds overweight because of the garbage carbs that you eat in a day? Think about it. It's a right to limit cholesterol raising saturated bad fat, said Neil Bernard, a medical doctor, president of the Physicians Committee Products, which are principal drivers of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and obesity. Right. But you can have a lot more cholesterol in your body, and it doesn't affect you as much if you're not fat to begin with. If you're not also adding in all those excessive carbs. If your body is using that fat as fuel instead of the garlic bread because you're in some form of ketosis, that's energy. It's not being stored. It's not having a negative impact on your heart. I've been told since we were little kids, fat's bad, fat's bad. A lot of fat is bad. The natural, real fat is not. All right. Let's jump over to the vaccinations. Still getting over that cold flu that's wiping everyone out all the way across the world. The new federal vaccine schedule for children, what changed and what are the implications? Not going to go over what they think. Do not give a shit. Let's see. So starting in 2025, changes by Health and Human Services to routine vaccine recommendations for children have reduced the number of diseases targeted from 17 to 11, and the number, listen to this, the number of routine vaccines from 13 to 7. So I was like, what? I'm looking at the chart. When they say routine vaccines from 13 of them to 7, that's talking about all of them. So say you get 4 shots that are one, hepatitis B, and you take it 4 times, that's considered 1. Or 6 times, that's considered 1. So down to 7. It's actually not as good as I was hoping, but it's a lot better. So multiply, just say each one has 4, right? 13 times 4, 7 times 4. Big difference there when you're actually looking at how many pricks you're getting with the heavy metals and carcinogens and everything else in them. Let's see, jump over here. This is from the CDC. Immunizations recommended for all children. So it's still a lot. Okay. It's a DTaP, first dose, second dose, third dose, right there. So you're supposed to get 3, your child, before they're 6 months old or at 6 months. All right. 3 right there. And then a 4th one between a year and a half. Then another one at 4 to 6 years old. Boom. And that's got 3 of them in it. That's the thing too, is a lot of these have multiple inside of just one. So then you're giving 5, 6 doses to a kid. So look right here. This is vaccine and other immunizing agents. There's a few of them going on here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they would call this 4 right here between 2 and 6 months. That's 4 of them, even though it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. See what I'm saying? So it's going down significantly, but it's not enough, in my opinion. Many reasons for my opinion. There's one or the other side of the tracks. Either get them all or don't get them at all. And the propaganda actually makes me feel bad for parents. for parents and, I mean, adults. People are now getting yearly COVID booster shots, and they're just calling them their flu shots. Yeah, instead of one flu shot, you go in now and get 2 or 3 or however many you want in a season, and then all of a sudden you're sicker than you've ever been. It's pretty unfortunate. But I mean, scare tactics, it works a lot with the older generation, right? They only had 3 channels for a long time. It was either this side of the aisle, red and blue, or the other. It's 2 wings of the same bird. But these people have had propaganda their entire life to where they do have a safe space. It's just inside of them. And they go, daddy government tells me what to do. And so you got to feel bad for the grandparents who are still doing this out of fear and out of progressive training throughout the years, their entire life, right? They didn't get to go, well, that's not fair. Well, I think this. They were told, shut up, sit down, or the teacher's going to get up and spank your ass right in front of the class. So feel bad for them. It is stupid, but it's also sad. Let's see. Immunizations recommended for certain high-risk groups or populations. So this is more, right? So birth to however long. I think it goes past. Yeah, it's... Here. So all the way to 17 years is what we're looking at. So this is specifically childhood from birth to technically 18. So on top of that, what is that? Let's just do the first 6 months. So 3, not sure why that one's. Some children should get this dose of vaccine at this age, depending on their dose series. Okay, so 50-50 maybe. 3, 6, 9, 12 right there. 12 on the recommended for all children from born to 6 months old. Okay, then you got 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. So there's 19 for high risk, which, let's look at why it's high risk. High risk because your mother did not have the vaccine. So if your mom didn't have any of these vaccines right here, recommended the baby gets it. Which if you're not, a free thinker, or not educated, or don't realize that doctors most of the time don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're just repeating what they're told to say or what they were taught, just like to sit down and shut up in class or you're going to get a spanking. You'll end up getting this for your children. All right, where were we at? It's 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And then this one is immunizations based on shared clinical decision making. Was that after they convinced you to do it? 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. 26 shots. It says some children should get this dose of vaccine at this age, depending on their dose series. For parents deciding whether to vaccinate for Hep B in infants born to women who tested negative for the hepatitis B virus, it is suggested that the initial dose is administered no earlier than 2 months of age. So over 20 shots in the first 6 months of their life. This is improvement, but this is absolutely disgusting. Okay. Not going to go too deep more into this. So what I see is the food is switched like, boom, that better for you. But we're still killing our kids. Okay. Read the inserts. There's mercury in the shots. And I guess that is one thing too that I didn't pull up in an article is they are removing some of the bad things in the vaccines. One step at a time, just not fast enough. But with the mercury, the other heavy metals, it was the stuff that they put in dead people to keep them fresh. There's some of that in there too. And then an acid that's also used for like melting skin off of bones. So anyway, you mix all that up. That's in every one of these shots. Over 20 of these shots between the ages of the day they're born, right? And if the mother's also getting the vaccine, there's vaccines they give the mother while she's pregnant. So you can include those as well. Six months, over 20. Frying the damn brain. Okay, so yesterday I actually saw a kid, probably three or four, somewhere in there, and he's balding, like actual patches of hair coming out of his head. I looked over and, I mean, you can actually see scalp. It's actually balded. It looks like his, he had a sibling or something like around his head, like a cancer patient whose hair is falling out in giant clumps, but before they shave it. I was told that they don't know why it happened, but the child had just gotten, right, whatever you want to call it, some vaccines, right, following this chart. And 3 days later, his hair started falling out. And when my youngest son, we were in the hospital, the doctor tried to argue with me about getting the first rounds of vaccinations. I said, have you read the insert? And she went, yep. I said, okay. I was like, just speaking about the heavy metals, it's weighed out per body weight. Correct? Correct. It's like, okay. So if I take my body weight right now and the percentage, right, of the heavy metal that's in there and multiplied it to my body weight, and I stuck it in a needle and shoved it into my arm right now, and then called poison control. She said, you've obviously done, what'd she say? She didn't say investigation. Due diligence. Never saw her again. Absolutely disgusting. So it's all money to these people. And I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a million loopholes, you know, they got to jump through, and red flags and, you know, red tape and everything to get this done. And for the most part, I'm completely against vaccines. Yeah. Until they can redo the science, because you're finding out all these studies and stuff was just to push these things through, and it was all because of money. And then you're brainwashed for generations to get it, or you're a bad guy. Or it's dangerous. Like tetanus. It doesn't kick in for 2 weeks. Tetanus doesn't come from rusty nails. It comes from cow manure. It's a random bacteria that nobody gets or dies from and hasn't in like 100 years or something like that. Very, very rare. So when we had always, as kids, we'd get cut with a rusty nail at some point. And then parents would bring us in. The doctor would go, oh, you got to take your tetanus shot. But you would already have tetanus before the shot would actually work if you were going to get tetanus. It's disgusting, and they know that. I think a lot of doctors don't know that because they're just dealers. They're not the people making it. They're not forced to understand what these things do. Pretty crazy. So there's the memo. This memorandum proposes a revised childhood and adolescent immunization schedule for your review and approval. After considering the data and recommendations contained in Tab 1, assessment of the U.S. childhood and adolescent immunization schedule compared to other countries, and your discussions with relevant health officials, you should approve the revised immunization schedule. So they are getting it done. From Jay, not even going to try that. Medical doctor, PhD, director, National Institutes of Health, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and Commissioner of Food and Drugs. So yeah, good news across the board, just not good enough in my opinion. I think this food pyramid that's going on, it's great. I think people should stick with it. I don't think there's any, I mean, where's big cattle, right? I mean, there it is, but the more meat they make, right, the lower the price goes. And at this point, it is way too expensive to be eating real good. But everything's like that right now. And you don't, I mean, go look up some, some recipes. It's not hard to eat like this on the right, over on the left. Typically cheaper. And you'll feel great. So let us know what you think down in the comments, and, well, getting out of here. We'll see ya.